It don't happen, all my wonderful people. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Information reaching me here now, and according to the clip I will show you now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of the Zoo, Republic of Nigeria, don't come out to make an open confession and call names of the Southeast governors who have vowed that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will never see the light of the day again. They said over their dead body will he be released. And they are the one that also stopped the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on the 8th day of October 2025. Let me not blow this trumpet by myself. Please hear it from the horse's mouth. And then we'll come back here for more discussion. Oya, regade.
If you are a Nigerian, you can get away with a lot of things. But if you are Igbo, Nigerian, you can't get away with a lot of things. Yes.
But you're not getting away with much.
Yes, but the odds are stacked against you because you're coming with zero, and they'll do to you. I mean, it was in this country that there's a Yoruba nation movement. They even went and hijacked a radio station last year. Did you hear of any trial? Did you hear of any arrest? I'm not using that. I'm not saying that should not be the case, but we must tell ourselves the truth.
What has motivated you to take the step of calling on people to take to the streets to draw attention to the need to release Mr. Kanu?
It's a number of things, and one is that we're friends, and we've been friends for a long time. In fact, I was one of the few people through Sahara TV that interviewed Nnamdi Kanu when he was relatively unknown, before he was arrested the first time. And I met him in 2019 in New York, had a conversation about the struggle for his people, and we struck a friendship then. And I was here in Nigeria, myself, held up by the Nigerian government when he was extraordinary rendition from Kenya. In fact, I was one of the few people who ran to court by the time he had been taken to the DSS detention, where he had been deposited before after he was kidnapped from Kenya. So, but the most important thing is that I understand the nature of justice, fair hearing, his constitutional right. And it is in his own case that you can say that he's presumed guilty and he's trying to prove his innocence, which is very sad. If you look at how long it has taken for all these court processes to take place, you know that Kanu's fate is not in the hands of the judiciary. If a decision was taken today by the owners of Nigeria to let him go, the judge might sit in the middle of the night and let him go. And by the way, on my way here, something happened. President Tinubu just pardoned 82 people. One of them was Herbert Macaulay, Nnamdi Azikiwe, of course, Farouk, who collected bribe from Otedola, a cocaine dealer who was imprisoned for life, and a fraudster. So if you can pardon this array of people and several others, I'm not asking for pardon for him, but it's a time to let Nnamdi Kanu go.
Is there a lot of public support for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, or is that difficult to gauge?
Oh, it's unprecedented. I've been fighting for his release for a long time. I used to attend all his court trials. Under Buhari, I was attacked several times. Each time I went to court, I was attacked physically by the DSS, police, thugs. But this time around, I'm surprised at the number of known traditional people, you know what I mean, who are in support of it. In fact, there was a poll put up by, it's not a scientific poll, by Tunde Ednon's page, who's a major Instagram influencer. And out of 17,000 people, 92% of them support the call for his release and the protest that's been planned for 28th of October.
I understand you've tried to contact many leaders in the Southeast to take more public-facing action in support of Nnamdi Kanu's release. Have you been struck by their apparent lack of personal involvement and commitment to that cause?
I'm not shocked, because I think on your show I once declared that Kanu's predicament, or his ordeal, is as a result of some persons in the Southeast who took a decision that his release would jeopardize their political career and future. That I know as far back as when Tinubu freshly became president, because I was part of some conversation to release him. And they said at that time, Imo elections are coming. If he comes out, APC might not win. And subsequently, I realized that some of the communiques you see is just, word of mouth by day. When they go at night or when they meet Tinubu, it's likely that they have a different position. And when I started contacting them in the last 24 hours, I'm shocked. Some of them that I used to be able to reach just switched off their lines. The ones I sent messages never responded. I reached out to Soludo, who I know personally.
That's Charles Soludo, who's
governor of Anambra State. No response till now. I reached out to Alex Oti. Alex Oti used to be a columnist for Sahara Reporters, so I know him personally. No response till now. The only response I got was a nominal response that no, we shouldn't have dragged us the way you did. Reached out to Peter Obi, they said he's in Rome. But I sent a message that, you can behave as the Romans do too, just be part of this. But some have been encouraging. Senator Abaribe, I reached out to him, he responded, he said, I'm in on this. And I know that Baribe suffered when he was a shorty for Kanu. In fact, I was sleeping on a Baribe's bed at the DSS in 2019 shortly after he was released, because he was a shorty for Nnamdi Kanu. So the rep from his state at the National House of Rep also signed up. A number of persons have signed up, some of them publicly, but there is no unified response from Southeastern political leaders or traditional rulers, or even the religious priesthood there, which many had expected would happen. But a lot of young people have signed up to this, and you can see that the Nigerian government is already pushing back because they've seen the response to be unequivocally in support of the release of Nnamdi Kanu at this time. I don't think they were expecting that such a response will be so favorable and swift.
So is this what you think is needed to push this Nnamdi Kanu issue over the line and perhaps change President Tinubu's view of Mr. Kanu, and not the sort of behind-the-scenes quiet diplomacy that has been going on since?
It's obvious that diplomacy cannot work. If it was going to work, by now it would have resolved the issue. I think they use the diplomacy or their proclamation about diplomacy to just make the public become a little lethargic about his release, so that nobody, they're working on it, don't worry. Because we hear that a lot from Oti, who is the Abia State governor, that is working on this quietly. In fact, I was told in court about 2 weeks ago that he will be released on head grounds. They convinced everybody, only for him to come to court, and they kept changing goalposts, as we call it. So I don't think diplomacy has to be a combination of actions. And one of it, I think, is going to be a loud public disapproval of his continued detention, and the protest would work, in my view, in that regard. That's why I want these people who claim to want him to be released to join the protest. Yes, because when they have issues, they do protest. There's no major politician in this country has ever participated in the protest when their own private interests are at stake.
I was speaking to a group of Nigerian political campaigners recently, and they seem to think that mobilizing the Nigerian people for any kind of large-scale protest has become a sort of famously impossible thing to achieve. I mean, do you share that view?
Well, I don't. It's the same country in 2024 that Nigerians protested for 10 days straight in what was known as End Bad Governance struggle. Nigerians in 2020 did EndSARS. It was a globally acclaimed resistance.
Well, to be fair, the EndSARS was the last big protest.
Yes, but there was still a protest in 2024. It may not have been as big. What I'm saying is that, yes, there's been efforts to discourage Nigerians. And, when you go out there and kill people and charge them for offenses that are very grievous in nature, you're likely to discourage a country in which, you have 139 million people who are living in abject poverty. They just want to go out there and get whatever they can and survive from day to day, hand to mouth. So, but I don't think that is impossible. What has been impossible is the unity of purpose, because they have figured out how to divide us, along ethnicity. I remember in 2024, when we were planning bad governance protest, we included the release of Nnamdi Kanu in that protest. And Johannes Ndigo, when I issued a statement that they are not part of the protest. So maybe by now we would have gotten Nnamdi released. So there's also a lot of tactics used by the Nigerian government to discourage people. And some of it is how they have made it open-ended to kill protesters, implicate them in crimes that are insurmountable. We saw in 2024 how they charged children for treason. It's never happened anywhere in the world before. So, but I think the consciousness around this is great. And I also think that in some ways, Nigerians always love when things are happening in other places. They love the replica of it. You notice that there's been a lot of chatter around Nepal, in Morocco recently. So maybe, that's also might be an inspiration.
Right, but I mean, are there lingering security-related things that are yet to be resolved around Mr. Kanu? I mean, can he, for instance, call on IPOB? I think he's called on them before, but again, to relinquish all forms of violence and all forms of threat to the Nigerian state. Will that be needed as well in order to convince the powers that be of Mr. Kanu's sincerity?
I think he made an open declaration in court where he said, give me 5 minutes if I'm released, I'm going to end the violence in the Southeast. He made the declaration in court last year. What else do you want from him? And you are the government, at any rate, you have a duty to protect the public. It's not his job to protect the Southeast or the Southwest. But the truth is that I have said this, and I'll repeat again. If you are a Nigerian, you can get away with a lot of things. But if you are Igbo, Nigerian, you can't get away with a lot of things. Yes.
But you're not getting away with much.
Yes, but the odds are stacked against you because you're coming with zero, and they'll do to you. I mean, it was in this country that there's a Yoruba nation movement. They even went and hijacked a radio station last year. Did you hear of any trial? Did you hear of any arrest? I'm not using that. I'm not saying that that should not be the case. But we must tell ourselves the truth. That it just doesn't look good that the Igbos are marginalized in every sector, including in the justice sector. To get a trial wrapped up in 10 years is also difficult to do, especially when you claim that you have evidence that this person has committed these grievous crimes. Nothing has been done. There's nobody who's been presented as a witness. The only witness that was presented in this case did not accuse him of any crime. He didn't say he found a gun on him or he was importing ammunition or weapons or had a grenade. He just said, well, he was making declaration that he wants Biafra. And I've checked the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 Constitution, there's nowhere it is stated that it's a crime to say that you want Biafra.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do have to, and not to sort of qualify what you're saying, but I mean, the person asking for a Yoruba nation is quite different from the Biafra issue, because Biafra, actually, there was a war in this country.
That's exactly what I'm telling you, that the laws that stacked against you.
That lasted quite some time. So in that context, and in that very narrow context, anything that appears to inflame that concept of bringing back the memories of the war and all the things that happened and in a sense threatening this country is something that raises the hackles of people. But let me ask you this. I mean, you yourself have become a sort of master of the protests, if that can be described in polite terms. I mean, is that because you believe that over the years or over the decades, the mood of the times in this country has been politically dark and is getting darker?
Yes, I have always stated that every president in Nigeria is worse than the last one. When Buhari left, everybody said this is going to be the worst. And after Buhari left, people were calling for the return of the Buhari regime. So that shows to you that.
To be fair, I haven't heard a lot of people calling for the return.
I heard a lot of people who said,
well, I mean, in preference to the Tinubu.
I've heard people say, give us Buhari fuel price, give us Buhari's naira.
Yes, I suppose in that sense, because the prices were lower. Yeah.
The same people also went and gave Buhari a rousing burial. So it doesn't look like they hate him. I was probably the only person who said, this guy don't deserve the kind of monumental, acclaim and cheerleading that followed his burial. But that's a conversation for another day, because it's no longer. But the truth is that the country is getting darker. The electoral process has become very Byzantine. Nobody believed that elections can deliver votes that bring about credibility, that they can be free and fair, and that it is the people you vote for that will get declared as winners of the election. Of course, you've seen poverty. Yesterday, they said, this is from the Nigerian government, that from 81 million people who are in abject poverty, we have now moved to 139 million, and we have 200 million people. So we're not making progress. That's the truth, either politically, economically, culturally, and socially.
The government is disputing those sort of World Bank figures, and they would say to you, I'm sure you've heard them say it many times, that your view of this country is particularly melancholy and despairing.
Well, they've always said that, and I've never been wrong. They have been the ones who've been wrong. My position on politics, economy, in the way the justice system works has been, right. I remember in 2019 when I was arrested in the charge for treason, I made it clear. I said, no, this is going nowhere. And that's what happened. One day they came and withdrew their charges. So when I said to you that elections are not free, fair, or credible, or that they're allocating votes, I'm not lying. When you look at it, you'll find out I'm right. So
I expect a lot of Nigerians would agree with
you. On the issue of Nnamdi Kanu that we're talking about today, I've always stated that this trial was not going anywhere, and it hasn't gone anywhere. And that's why we're asking them to stop wasting resources, time, energy, and emotions on this, because the DSS spent millions of naira to come and carry out this charade in courts. They had to lock up every street just to come and seek an adjournment.
And would you say that dark theme that you talk about, that kind of overshadows this country, has resonance for many Nigerians? I mean, you do have a huge following, but do they see this country as darkly as you do, and that sense that everything is about to explode?
They see it even more than I do. That's why they're leaving. That's why most Nigerians, whenever they have the slightest opportunity to leave Nigeria, you don't leave a place that is that's going to explode. I mean, that's making progress. You stay and wait for it to see the progress happen. If this place was promised land, people will be coming in. But because it is not, people are leaving. The only people that are left in Nigeria are people who are stuck in Nigeria. Now, probably people who are dinosaurs, who can't go anywhere because they can't sense danger.
But you're not stuck in Nigeria, are you?
I'm likely stuck. This is my passport since January. But even if my passport was not seized, I'll be here. That's a decision I took a long time.
People might ask, how does Bola Ahmed Tinubu make a statement that comes from Sowore that they are rivals, that they are this, they are that. My brother, among the 12 disciples, there must be a Judas. And that is the work that have been given to Sowore as a Judas Iscariot in Tinubu's government. Sowore is a Tinubu's boy. This thing he says here have been an inner caucus meeting they had. And everybody cannot keep their mouth shut. But this one, because of his clout chasing, he come out to make it public. Just to let you know, or rather make you to feel that he is fighting Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that he is standing on the interest of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If this guy is not working for Asrock, if this guy is not working for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if this guy is not errand boy to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, why then are you putting a protest on the 20th day of October 2025? That is the question. We all here, hearing me, either you are far or you are near, knows what 20th of August represents in the lives of Nigeria. Many people will never stop telling that story because that story have to go from generation to generations. Many people, many kids lost their papa, and the person who will raise them up will keep on telling them those stories. That your father, your mother, your auntie, your sister was murdered in a cold blood by blood-sucking government of the day. That is the day this guy chooses to put a protest. And you tell me he's not working for the government because government don't want anything that will keep on reminding the international community about the situation on ground, because people are still waiting for the international community to take absolutely actions against Nigerian government for genocide, because that is exactly what happened on Lekki. It is a massacre. It is a genocide against the people who came out empty-handed with just your flag. You have to stain that flag green, white, green with blood. So Nigerian government will always do anything that will distract the youths not to remember that day, or also not to call the attention of the international community to please, we are still waiting for all of you to look into this matter. You know how Nigeria government, or rather Nigeria as a whole, it is in the eyes of the international community now. They are looking them now with one eye, one-sided eye, waiting for anything that will trigger them to sanction them both locally and internationally. So for Sowore to come out and fix a date, and it falls on that very particular date, Sowore, who claimed that he is among the NSAS protesters, is now fixing October 20 for protest to distract the youths that's supposed to go to the Lekki to hold a candle light or candle night, whatever they call it. And you tell me he is not working for government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. My brother, connect the dots. So when I said that Bola Ahmed Tinubu had made an open confession, what Sowore said is exactly how it is, and there's no any doubt about it. I don't know about you. My opinion might be general, it might be personal, but I want you to connect the dots on this very particular matter. Then you will know where I am driving to. Tinubu will go. Sowore will go to the radio station, or TV station. They will ask him a question. What are you going to do different from this government? Sowore will answer that question. I will do better than Peter Obi. How does that thing relate to the question they ask you? Sowore, this government have not been doing well. Can you tell me what do you think about this government? He will tell you that even Peter Obi there will never make any difference. How does that question relate to Peter Obi? It is a script being given to them. Yoruba know how to protect their own. Forget about that thing Obasanjo that is doing. Obasanjo is helping Tinubu to be going higher in politics. Deserting them, there are people who think that they are fighting. Oh, they are fighting in general public. What happened behind the closed doors? What happened? So, what Sowore said is exactly the same. It tallies with my headline. He is speaking on behalf of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You people, they keep on gaslighting you, because that is a fools that call themselves Nigerians. I am sorry to use that word, but that's exactly what it is. Very easy to decide them. Very easy to do anything. Once you do one thing now, and they just love you. Even if you commit 99% offense, that one love, that one good thing you do has covered everything. That is the issue of Sowore with the Nigerians. Everybody, he's fighting the government, he's an activist. My brother, he is fighting for his own pocket. The other day, Wike spokesperson Lare Oloyinka came out and said, look at the amount of money Sowore is paying for his child education in US. Yet, he tell you he want a better Nigeria. But he couldn't bring that child back home to struggle and fight for a better Nigeria. You are giving him a better Nigeria with the money you make in blackmailing people. According to Larry Olayinka, that is what he said. He said he's a blackmailist. He's a catch activist. So you can as well agree with me. They keep on gaslighting them. Once they gaslight them, oh, the next one they will fall back and said, you do this, you do that. And I don't see them now. Now your governors, as I said earlier on, if anything happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and according to the information by so they said, both the past and present governors are the ones holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So in Enugu State, they have 4 governors, past 3 and 1. Biafrans in that state, please hold these guys responsible. In Abia State, the same thing, past and present, past 3 and current 1. Hold these guys responsible because they keep on telling you we are working on the ground. They are not doing anything. I repeat, they are not doing anything. Because the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will make them powerless in terms of politics because Nnamdi Kanu is going to clip all their wings. So that is exactly what they don't want to happen. So Ruto have started progress, or rather process, on never to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu because of November 11 election. So look at it. When they want to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu before Imo State election, Hope did not agree. So after this one now, there are still election coming 2027, right? And if they are joining this case now, till November, from November till 2026, automatically, all the governors that are going to get re-elected will also fight for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu not to be released. Then tell me, who is fighting for his release? Because all of this still boils down to their political relevance. They are ready to push everybody under the bus to remain relevant in the politics of Nigeria. That is why they are still holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So let nobody, if anything happens to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I don't urge any Igbo guy to begin to call Bola Ahmed Tinubu out. No, we have enough of all this nonsense. We are doing ourselves. When Yorubas want to jump up, hey, outside kill what they call it, Abiola. The culprit people, they came out and tell you, look at your brothers, they are the one who killed Abiola. And they were pictured when they are coming up from Asorok with the Gadabosko of monies. That was why that issue died in fact, it quenched like a wildfire. Imagine the kind die tomorrow. And if you go there now to protest, these people will tell you that your Southeast politicians are the one who killed him. Better look for them now. Look for that black goat before it is dark. That is all I have to say. Happy weekend to you all. Happy Saturday. It shall be well with all of us. Please help me to circulate this video. Let it go viral. As you're watching, subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos. It shall be well with you once again.